Hello and welcome to my current world record run of Tibia Rookgaard level 2 to 8 in 27 minutes and 56 seconds. Before we start, I took the courtesy of checking the previous run by Shumi, and he actually stopped his timer when he left to mainland and not when the level 8 message appears on screen as stated in the rules. So timed for when he actually hit level 8, the time to beat is, as on screen, 28 minutes and 29 seconds and not 29 minutes 14 seconds. So I think that is all, and let's actually start the run. On the first frame you can see my account is free account. The character we'll be using is Toolbox Hover because of the strat I've, well, let's not say discovered, but found very useful. Let's start the commentary. First on, we start in Downport Cave. We cannot skip the first window with enter, but we can click enter to skip the second window. And if I have the word Rookgaard on Control V for paste, I can skip about a second of typing. I like to set up my inventory here on the way so everything's fine. I didn't yet check the weight of all the boxes and stuff I want to pick up, but so I dropped stuff just in case. You can see the blood splats of my previous attempt. Rip. Anyways, what you want to have is your doublet and club for defense, and your apple, rope, and 3 gold. You want to make your way to Minotaur Hell as soon as possible and obtain the Carlin sword and the 2 boxes. One of the boxes will have boots, which will be very useful, and the other box will have shovel, scythe, and a rope, which would be very useful if we sold stuff. It would give a very good base for learning the run. You'd have a lot of defense, but since I want to save as much time as possible, I will be dropping all of that and only using the shovel to skip about a minute of going to LD and then to Dixie. So that's one big time save as opposed to current previous world record by Shumi. Here, as you can see, the orc is dead. There was one rookster online and I couldn't do anything about it. But as you can see later on, with how much HP I had left, it wouldn't have made a difference if the orc hit me once or twice. Here the blood splats from my previous run through the maze. The wolves pretty much reset, so there's nothing to worry about. You want to make your way as fast as possible through the maze. There are 3 ways, left, center, and right, and actually the left is the slowest one. Center is probably the fastest one, or the right. I didn't yet time it, but they're very close. And the biggest time loss you can get if wolves get you stuck. I also like to pick up this ham over here and eat an apple. You want to eat an apple as soon as you get any damage, which will probably be on 2 young trolls or the orc, but if you get unlucky, then you might as well get hit by a snake or a rat. You want to get the region running as fast as possible. Do not pick up the fishing rod or the arrows, just pick up 2 boxes and the Carlin sword and then suicide to Minotaurs. Respawn as soon as possible. Put on your Carlin sword, change the, well, empty the boxes for the weight. You don't really have to, but I like to do it. Put on the boots and change the fighting style to aggressive because we lost 10 experience on death. This is actually a pretty important thing I'll be talking about in a second. But first we go here, do the doublet quest by clicking the floorboard here and kill 1 rat to get 10 experience. On some servers, I think it depends on a server, you lose 11 XP, which makes you have to kill 2 rats instead of 1. I got pretty lagged here, so as you can see, I can't really exit, but I made it, and we can leave the city. Shumi also went to LD to buy, to sell his fishing rod, and then to Dixie to buy some armor. And he left the city at 5 minutes and 4 seconds, and we're leaving at 3 minutes 52 seconds, so that's a minute and 10 seconds about of time save, which will probably carry me to the end, but we have less defense than him, so we have to play a little bit more careful. So we kill the snakes and make our way to the bug cave. This is a very RNG heavy moment in the run, because the bugs from left and right can despawn if they get stuck in various places. I will be looking more into it and probably making a guide on where to place your boxes so that the bugs don't disappear. But if we get a good spawn like this one, everything's fine and dandy and we can clear every single bug. And they're probably the best monsters to hunt because they do not run on low health, so you don't waste time chasing them. And they give pretty much good XP. They have a decent attack, not as high as wolves or poison spiders, but they don't really have high defense, so that's, well, that makes them perfect. And they also drop gold. You want to be saving as much gold as possible, because so far I wasn't able to complete a run with skipping Hyacinth later on, so you need as much gold as possible for potions. Kill the bugs over here and then move here. You can block with the box if you want to kind of filter the bugs to save HP, but it's not really needed because you will hit level 4 in the cave if for some reason a lot of bugs despawn, then you might not, but if no bugs despawn, then for sure you hit level 4. Sometimes what I like to do is get all the bugs to red HP before dinging 4, so I can kill them all with one clear swing and save as much HP as possible. But this time it worked out in a different fashion. Saving time is still the priority. So try to kind of kite the monsters always as you're going towards the way you want to go, unless you're fighting a mob like wolves or spiders that escape on low HP. Then you want to be behind them. It's kind of hard to explain, but very easy in practice. They just you want them to move the way they're escaping, essentially. You can also use boxes to block their way, but then you have to pick them up, and sometimes it's also a time loss. Actually, I don't usually leave boxes over there, but this time it just so happens, so I'm doing majority of the run without boxes. You can pretty much save a second here and there every single time you're fighting a mob if you put a box or block another mob to save a little bit of HP. But here we are finishing off the wolves, and even though I'm red HP, we will safely hit level 5. Compared to previous world record by Shumi, I will probably be referencing him a lot because it's the time I'm going from. We hit level 5 at 7 minutes and 7 seconds, and he hit level 5 at 8 minutes and 51 seconds. So we are 1 minute and about 40 seconds ahead now, which is a very substantial lead, but somehow I lose about 1 minute later on. I will have to look into it, but for now, let's continue on with the commentary. After these two spiders, a first difference in run takes place. What I decided probably is better than what the previous record holder was doing. He went straight on to the east, and I decided to loop and kill the bugs again. I killed first bugs, I believe, about 3.5 to 4 minutes ago, so they should be respawned in majority, and as I said, bugs are the best monsters you can have. So definitely I think this first loop is better. I also do a loop like that later on at level 6 or 7. I'm not sure if that one was as good. I think it might have lost me time as compared to just rolling with it. But I think this one is definitely the strategy to go. Nothing much to say here, you just repeat the process. One more benefit of doing the little loop around as opposed to going straight is You get a couple more GP, and as you can see later on, you're very often so close to that one more potion that can make all the difference, that can let you go a little bit more aggressive to save a couple seconds. So bugs are good XP, good money. You should focus on doing them, and I think this definitely is a good idea. So we take those 2 snakes in the ruins leading to Minohel, and then we kind of have to juggle all these monsters around. Usually they're spread out so that you can kill one, and then as you move, the other one shows up. But this time they were bunched out. So we have to kind of juggle them around and lose a couple seconds over here. Always remember to loot, even that 1 gold can make a difference, and continue on. Now will be kind of a pretty big patch of absolutely no monsters, which is a dead time, but there's no like perfect route on Rookgaard. There's always gonna be some dead spots. So we make our way to the wolf cave. There are 8 wolves here, and it's pretty good to know that because they run on low HP, and if you know there are 8, you don't get lost trying to look for a wolf that you thought was red, but you actually killed it. There's a lot going on. One good strategy for killing the wolves in the cave is not chase them just to kill them, which might be a little beneficial on time, but if you get hit by other wolves along the way, you will lose so much HP that if you're fighting 2, just get one to yellow or red HP and start fighting the other one, let the first one run away. They will pretty much always bunch up in some corner later on that you can clear them without losing too much time and saving a lot of HP. So after I cleared out those wolves, I hit level 6. If you didn't do the little bug loop, you would hit level 6 at the 2 wolves spawn right next to Katana quest holes. So not big difference, but I like to have my HP full here because, as you could see, I was already pretty low. Sometimes this wolf respawns, sometimes it doesn't. It's luck of the draw, pretty much. But if you see the blue stars, the teleport animation that it's about to spawn, it's probably worth it to wait because the XP is so worth it. There are some spiders here. If you're lucky, it will be on your way. If you're a little unlucky, it will be near the holes. So you'd have to get a little bit more way with it. There are 2 wolves here. Try to space them out and only take hits from 1 at a time. This is usually where you would hit level 6. Continuing on. Now's the part where I personally lose the most of time. I don't know how, but you kill wolves here, you go over here, there are some spiders, and if you go more southeast, there will be 1 poison spider. I don't remember if I pulled it this time, but poison spiders deal by far the highest damage of all the monsters you can meet on this route. Plus the damage over time poison really ramps up So you might want to avoid it because it's probably not worth it, the extra experience, unless you're already close to a level. Yeah, I remember now. I tried to avoid it, but since it was pulled, it followed me for a long time. So I just tried to get rid of all the monsters on the way and probably lost a little bit of time with the chaotic pathing. But we also pulled the wolf, so that's a lot of XP gained on the way. As you can see, I still tried to lose the spider, but since we're getting closer to the bear cave wolves, I had to kill all of them over here. If you're lucky, the poison spider will not deal too much damage, but as you can see, the dot will still hit for a lot. It starts at 2 and quickly changes to 1 damage, but that's still a lot of damage that you will keep on getting. Here I like to block these wolves. Here, if you have a box, you can put it behind the wolf and it stops it from running, because sometimes they can run really far and you lose out on that experience. I think I might have lost out on one of the wolves here. I don't really remember, but if we look, we can be certain. No, I think this run, it was okay. The wolf only ran here, so I got all the experience. But sometimes they can run all the way south, and that's a big time loss. As you can see, I think I have 38 gold. What you really want is 60. That would be pretty safe, 3 potions. If you're really short, 55 is also good, because you can buy 2, drink 1, because you will pretty much always need to drink 1 before level 7. And then sell the vial for 5 and you will have 20 for another one. So you'll essentially have drunk 3 during the run. But as you can see, I'm very short, 45 gold. There are 2 spiders on the way to Hyacinth, so I decided I will go for the 1 rat in the crypt. Rats also drop pretty decent gold, but they're not too good in XP. And it dropped, I think it was 2 gold. Yeah. So if you check me killing those 2 spiders, I think I got 3 from one and 2 gold from the other one, which meant I was at 54 gold and I was 1 gold short to do the 2 1 drink and another 1 potion strategy. So there's nothing you can do about it. The only monster relatively close is a wolf. You'd have to spend a lot of time to find another monster that drops gold. It's just pretty unlucky, but it is what it is. Going to Hyacinth is like a 30-second adventure, so that's also a hefty time loss, but so far I haven't found a way to skip having to use health potions. My biggest theory is right at this point, where you're out of combat for a pretty long time, you might drop combat, and if you drop combat, the next health regen tick from eating food will heal you up to 150, so that's like drinking a potion. But if I just continue going this way and doing the loop, we will meet the snake before combat drops. I'll have to test it out if it's worth waiting for like maybe 10 seconds. But you can definitely manage with just 2. I did with just 2, but it's very risky and very close. Again, I don't have boxes, but 3rd time in a row we got a very good bug spawn, so you can say that it's just RNG and no skill run. You don't have to loot here. I think I looted out of habit and lost maybe a second or 2. But that's not too much of a big deal. So you should hit level 7 about here. I'll hit level 7 about here. And as you can see, I tried to get the bugs to low HP, I will be hitting the next one. So it's just I don't lose my HP after it regens. I have as much HP as I can because it's hard. Doing that small loop earlier meant I was a little bit topped up on XP, so I actually hit level 7 without drinking a potion. If I had to drink a potion before, if I got a little unlucky on hits, that would probably mean the run's over, because doing 7 to 8 with just one potion might be cutting in way too short. But since I still have 2, I do some risky moments in this strat just to get a little bit more experience. You'll see later on. Here, finish up the bugs, and I think what I did was... I don't know if I did the small loop this time. Jeez, I don't remember. I finished the run half an hour ago and I already forgot. Anyways, here are boxes. I'll think I picked them up. Yeah, I think I picked them up, and maybe you will be able to see a little bit of box usage. Very lucky on wolves, they spawn one by one. Good experience, and we're started. Now it's just the race to finish level 8 before 28 minutes and 29 seconds hits the clock. You might be tempted to, after clearing this spawn, go to Poison Spider Cave. And I did also when I did some of my test runs. The spiders before Poison Cave are fantastic. They're amazing. They're probably the biggest cluster of XP you can get. But if you go down, then you have 2 very long corridors where you're slowed down because of the mud. And the spiders are few and far between. And then you drop down, and it's a huge cluster, and you get greeted by poison spiders right away. So if you had like 3 potions at this point, I would probably go to Poison Spider Cave, and maybe it should have been a little bit faster, but now with 2 and already being pretty low HP, I decided to play it safe. Once again, you don't need to loot anything. Yeah, so I misremembered. I didn't do the small loop the second time, and I think that's a good choice. You're killing the bugs pretty fast at this point, so only a couple would have respawned, so it's better to just go ahead. This is a real bummer that the empty plot of the land is here, because we're wasting a lot of time at the final moments of the run just traversing this. But after that we go into the wolf cave, still with 2 potions, but I think I will pop some soon because HP is getting critical. Let's kill the wolf, kill the spiders. I got decently lucky on kills here, and not many wolves have escaped, but since even that last one had to be left on red, and I wanted to save that potion because I didn't know what was coming, I had to make a pretty long run back just to get that 35 XP. At this point, it's probably not worth it doing what I did. It's too much time just to get 35 XP, 34. You're much better off just going further at this point. Especially now with the hindsight of finished run, I know that when I finished there were still monsters nearby that I could have killed, and this cost me about 20 seconds, which is a lot to spend on just 34 XP. A good example of how much using a box could have saved time. If I just boxed that wolf and finished it off, it probably wouldn't have run away and I could have killed it earlier. So now I decide that I'm cutting it pretty short on time. So since I'm full HP, I will go and do a risky strat and kill the poison spider here. As you can see, I'm getting hit very, very heavily and I got the poison on me. So this is not too bright of an idea. But it worked out for me, so I'm not complaining. Now with such a low HP, I was sure trying to stay away from the poison spider spawn. I didn't have too much XP to go, so I think I could have juggled the poison spider if I needed, or just killed it real fast. But just for the safety, you'll see later that I finished it very, very close. Going into the little cave with 3 spiders was definitely a mistake. And I decided to just stay away from the poison spider, go through here, kill the bugs on the way to wolves, and I will hit level 8 at wolves near Bear Cave, so that's a pretty good timing. I will cut it real short and have pretty low HP, so you can say that it's pretty lucky that I wasn't killed, but I think the hits there were pretty average, so you can expect to survive in a situation like that, 50-50 pretty much. Yeah, so there's this bug and I need just 2 more monsters, so I lure the wolves here, and now with my boxes I can box the wolf behind so it doesn't escape, and if it escapes it has to go on this longer line. So I can kill it so it doesn't run away, and now it's just last stretch, 1 monster and we're done. At 4 HP we got lucky, and here's level 8. And the run's done. Once again, Shumi also goes to mainland, but since the rules say nothing about doing that, I decided not to do that. Probably it would be the best idea to rewrite his time to 28:29 is what I timed it to be. And yeah, plenty of mistakes, pretty unlucky on the potions, but I think it's a decent run. I spent about 2 evenings on this, so definitely happy. I have some things I would like to test out, namely the bug disappearing. Where do the bugs disappear, and if there are any other item spawns that are useful. The previous route used buying fishing rod, and this uses getting the box with the tools, with the shovel. But after I test, maybe I'll do another run and save a little bit of time. For now, thank you for watching. Of course, subscribe, like, participate in the leaderboard, and goodbye.